since the start of talking about this draft, there have been 3 players that have been, hey, this could be a possible number 1 pick, and that would be Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, and Travis Hunter. We're not hearing that about Hunter anymore. He's not a quarterback, obviously, and whomever drafts 1 is going to take a quarterback, we think. Travis Hunter, like, where is he now on the board?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it depends on what happens with Cleveland at 2. If Cleveland goes quarterback, let's say Abdul Carter goes 1. Let's say Cleveland takes Cam Ward, and then it becomes a question of, if you're the Giants, is that an interest for you over somebody like Mason Graham? Could be. We'll see. And then if you're New England, I think at 4, you're hoping and sort of praying that he falls to you because, regardless of where he goes in this draft, he's still the best prospect in the class. It's just a matter of the positions that he plays are not 2 spots that, but we're talking about 2 spots. They're not 2 spots that teams typically take number 1 overall. But a team like New England, I would think, could get all kinds of use out of him on either side of the ball, quite frankly. So I think somebody could get a steal here with Travis Hunter. And we say a steal usually in the 10 or 12, but top 5 steal for this guy because he's probably the best player in the draft, no question. It's just a matter of positional value and what you need at this point.
I think measuring body parts is funny, especially when it becomes a story. And it happened with Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett's got little hands. So, and then it didn't work out for him in Pittsburgh, and then you wonder maybe it was his little hands. I don't know, but now we're seeing this with Will Campbell, and he's got little arms. So, little arm gate. How do you feel about this? How real is it?
Short arm gate is definitely real, but I think in this case, this is where you really got to watch the tape with a guy like this. His hands and his feet are outstanding, and to me, when we talk about tackles and edge rushers with their short arms, another guy on the other side of the ball who had short arms was Aiden Hutchinson, kid for the Lions, who's been phenomenal because he knows what he's doing with his hands and his feet, and his effort never stops. And I think with Will Campbell, when you watch him on tape, he's as good and as dedicated a technician as there is in this class. He works as hard or harder than any offensive lineman, in the group. And I think, yes, there is a question. The Rashawn Slater, the kid from the Chargers, a couple years ago had the same conversation. He's been a good player when healthy. It's more about your hands and your feet and if you know what to do with them. If you're a sloppy or raw prospect, which he is not, then yes, the arm length would become a question. Like if you are Armand Membo, the kid from Mizzou, who's a little more raw than Campbell, who doesn't have a length problem. But if he did, that would concern me more. In Campbell's case, it really doesn't because I think he knows what he's doing with his hands. I think he can play tackle in the NFL. And if somebody says he can't, I know he'll be an outstanding guard. And that's kind of the whole thing with him is he's just going to be a really good football player one way or the other, I think. And it'd be wise not to overthink that one. No short arm gate with Will Campbell.
I wish we heard about guys who had really long body parts, like extra long legs and extra long arms.
Yeah, legs would be
like
cool.
That became a story, like his legs are 7 inches longer than they should be. Because this Will Campbell thing, he's a monster. And it's got to be weird for a guy that's been so big his whole life and has been so dominating to now what we think of him right this second is he's got a little tiny, I think like a Tyrannosaurus Rex arm. That's not proper because he's a but that's what I think of now.
I'm totally with you, Nick, Chris here. Like, who was the first person to decide that a tackle has to have 34-inch arms? Like, when did this become the baseline number?
I feel like if you go all the way back to like that, Bill Walsh wrote that book that's like out of print right now, the Finding the Winning Edge. If you go online and look for this thing, it's like the real copy's like $120 because it's not around. He's got all the little lengths and desirables, and I feel like we've just devolved since then, and we go by the average. And 33 is sort of the standard of like it's got to be at least 33. Well, what if it's 32 3/4? And I think at the end of the day, a lot of it, all of it, really comes back to what are they doing on tape? How consistent are they with their hands and feet? And really, for me, offensive line wise, that's kind of the whole thing. The length, if you know what to do with it, is kind of an added bonus, is the way I look at it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.